And we are here again. Yes. So let's do it. Let's continue doing it. So now I promised you, this time we will do the shoulder. So I don't know if you understood how I make the arms, but I made them the same way I made the horns. So if you're not sure, because I don't think I explained it quite well, if you're not sure how I make the arms, go and see how I made the horns. It's with this brush, curved tube brush, and with just with this brush, yes. But to learn how to work with this kind of brushes, which are curved brushes, you have to go to the tutorial about the video about the curved tube brush, because there I explain how to work with this kind of brush. So here I'm using mostly the move tool, and I'm preparing everything, just touch here and there. It's not mandatorily that I will make everything perfectly and exact the same way here. I will try, but the thing is that it takes time, and also it takes to have all the parts first. So next, what we want to do, we want to go to the body by clicking, alt clicking, you know, with alt clicking on the objects, we're changing the subtool, and that's faster than just trying to find it here, but still, let's try it here. I'm on the body, I can press solo. Now I want to make this kind of shoulder pad or shoulder. It's a little bit complicated. We can make it from either a cylinder and then hide some parts of the cylinder and delete them, or we can make them the same way we made this armor here, this one. But I think from cylinder it will be a little bit more interesting, because we already have seen how to make this from extraction, and now let's see how we can make something from a cylinder. So you notice how my body disappeared, because the icon here is gray of the eye. So the eye, if we press the eye, it is here. If we press the eye again, it's not here. But if we press the eye on the active subtool, which is the armor on the shoulders, they don't disappear because it's active. And when the tool is active, no matter if the eye is active or not, it will be seen. The tool, it will be visible. That's the thing. So one thing I want to show you about the visibility is shift click on one of the eyes will disable the visibility of all the subtools. Shift click again will enable it. Yeah, this could prove useful. We'll see. So we will append from here, append. Go to the menu without going out of the menu, because it will disappear, and probably cylinder 3D from here or from here, it will be okay. So we get the cylinder, and we have to go to the cylinder, so either here or here. You know, we are on the cylinder. Now we press solo to work only on this cylinder. Make sure when we're working on this kind of things like the cylinder to not have the perspective on, because yeah, it will be bad. Then we turn on polyframe, disable perspective, and now we'll hide parts of the cylinder, most of the parts of the cylinder, almost everything, and we'll leave just that, because we need we don't need to have too much edge loops. We don't need them. And then we will del hidden, and then I'll go here, Control Alt Shift drag, then space, it's a little bit difficult, and drag it here. So I will hide this and then del hidden. And now we have this, and now I press W to get my pivot. And if you want to center your pivot to the unmasked part of your model, now everything is unmasked, so center to the model, just press Alt and this button here, this one. Go to Unmasked Mesh Center. So Alt, press it, and it will go to the center, which is very convenient. Now when it's on the center, we can just drag this green slider to make it bigger. And then solo disable. Now we can move it to the side, rotate it with pressed shift, because with press shift, you know, if you see the degrees down, there are 5 degrees increments. If we don't press shift, it's a mess. So with shift, 90 degrees, and it will be cool. Now I'll make it bigger and put it where the shoulder should be, probably something like this. Move it with this handle, and it could be something like this, of course, a little bit wider. So why I don't want edge loops here? Because it will be much easier to make this kind of little here and then white here. So yeah, this will be easier for me to make. But first, solo, and then we will delete half of the cylinder almost. So just drag like this. So what have I done? So let's see. I have arranged my camera so my cylinder is like a parallel to my horizontal line. Let's see it now. Okay, but I want it to be like this because I want to cut here, and I cut it here, and I think it's kind of good. Maybe we can cut a little bit more here, but probably not. Okay, so now what we want to do is start adjusting this. I'm pressing my move brush and I'm doing a little bit of adjustment. So let's see. The helmet ends here and a little bit below ends this armor. In our case, this armor ends a little bit more below, probably, or not. Probably it's good. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. So the shoulder is small. Yeah, I'm trying to get the move brush, and with the move brush, yeah, another thing. If you want to use the move brush to go inwards or outwards like this, you have to press Alt. Just press Alt. You see the minus sign. Without the minus sign is just in the middle of our brush, you know, the minus sign appears, and then we just click and drag. This is dragging right, this is dragging left. So left, right, or up or down. But the left and right is the best. So this way you're moving the polygons according to the normal of the point you have clicked on. So here, for example, Alt click and then move like this. Alt click here and move like this, you know? Yes. So let's just adjust this, make it bigger, and move this here, because you notice how this is in this area here. The end of the shoulder is starting from this area, so it should be around here, probably. Yes. And the shoulder itself should be a bit bigger. And in the back, we don't know how it is, but we can imagine it. Of course, we can always imagine it. And now I will have to show you the Z-Mesher brush. Z-Modeler, I mean. Z-Modeler brush. Don't be mistaken. Z-Modeler brush. Z-Mesher is the other thing that I've shown you that we made this. This is the Z-Mesher, and it's located here. Or we have it here. It's the same. But this time I will show you the Z-Modeler brush, which is this brush here. It's a very important brush for low poly modeling in ZBrush, and that's what we're gonna do now. This shoulder, I notice, is almost vertical here, but we will not make it vertical, we'll make it kinda on angle. Vertical is too much, I think. So I'm just moving with my move brush, rotating the camera, moving around, and that's why it's very important to be able to rotate and pan and move the camera around easily and freely, and that requires practice, of course. And if you try to make this model, and bear with me here, probably you will have a bit of a practice, and it will be much easier for you every time you do something in ZBrush, I guess. Yes. So now I think it's kind of good. So we go to Z-Modeler brush. and nothing happens, except this falls down and we have this poly sphere here. Why? Nobody knows. Now, how this Z-modeler brush works. It works in this way. Now, Q-mesh a poly. You see, when we are on a poly, it's Q-mesh a poly. I'm not pressing anything, I'm just hovering. Hovering over edge, it's edge loop. Hovering over a point, it's doing something for a point. So, go to a poly, for example. Press space. And you have all these options. And you get scared and run away. Yes, I know. But don't be scared. I was scared first time I saw this. They introduced this to ZBrush, I think 3 or 4 or 6, no, maybe 4 years ago, something like this. Or 5. But no matter. The thing is that we are using some of the options there, not everything. So don't be scared. So first, we go to an edge loop. Edge, not an edge loop. Because by default, when we click on an edge, with this brush, we're making edge loop. But we don't need that now. I'm not sure why this made this kind of thing here. Huh. It's strange, but we'll see. Del hidden. Ah, I haven't pressed del hidden. Now it's good. Okay. So, we want to make this edge loop here, so we can make this lip and the bottom one too. So, I will show you now on the edge and then press space. And then we have insert here. This is the action, all actions, and what they apply to. So insert single edge loop or multiple edge loops. We need single one for now. So insert is one of the main things we do with edges. Insert, crease sometimes, and yeah, bridge, but insert is the main thing. So insert single edge loop. We go insert it here. Then we can insert one in the bottom too, but let's not do it now yet. First we go to this thing here. We want to select only this row of edges here. So we go to edge, one of the edges, press space while we are on Z-modeler brush, of course. You see it here in the top left corner. We are on Z-modeler brush. So edge, hover it, don't click it, then press space, and then stay on this menu, because if you go out, no, until you're pressing space, you're okay. So I'm just holding space now. Then we need to mask, not an edge, but edge loop complete. Let's try that, edge loop complete. So click it, and now this whole edge is masked. And now I can reverse the mask, so this whole edge will be unmasked and everything else will be masked. How do you invert the mask? Of course with Control, clicking outside of the object. Just click, don't drag, click. And now it's unmasked. Now we can call our pivot and just center it to the unmasked portion of the model, and then just make this and this. And then I press Q to get out of the pivot mode, then press 4 to get out, this 4, to get out of Z-modeler mode, Z-modeler brush, and then I increase my brush and just do this. Just manually adjust what happens with this lip. And it's starting to take a pretty good shape, yes. So with Z-modeler brush, we can do a lot of things. And one of the things that we will do with Z-modeler brush in the course of our tutorial or course, we will make thickness of objects. And this is very, very cool feature. We can extrude polygons or parts of polygons, not parts of polygons, some polygroups we can extrude. We can do a lot of things with this brush. So it's very, very good. Z-modeler brush is one of the best tools that were introduced in ZBrush in the recent years. Maybe the best, because it allows us to make things in ZBrush without going to 3D Max and stuff. Before that, I was like always going to 3D Max, making this shoulder, for example, and putting it back here, and it's not that good. So now I will show you, and not only now, I will show you a lot of times how to save your file here. So this is Save Tool, and you can see the shortcut, it's Control S. By default, this shortcut is Control Shift S, I think, or something like this. But and Control S is File, Save As, is Control S. But now I made this Control S because I save only Tool. Very rarely I save a project which is saved from File here. So Tool, Save As, or Control S, and we save our tool as 08, for example. And you better save more often, because sometimes, very rarely, but sometimes ZBrush crash and doesn't save your progress. Very rarely, I say. Most of the time ZBrush is saving your progress, and it's here. If you open Lightbox, this thing that first we open, and you go to Quick Save, and you can see some things that I have done before, some aliens, some other things. But this is quick saves, and ZBrush makes them often, so it's cool. But if we want to load the file again, we can go to Load Tool, of course, and load our file. But we will do that another time, and I will show you what happens. I've shown you the first video, but it was just like preview, and I will show you again, of course, because this is important. Loading and saving files is pretty important. I will do it. And in this case, they are files, but they are tools. Here in ZBrush, they are called tools. So we have this. Let's fast go to ZModeler brush, go to Insert, Single Edge Loop is selected. So we go here, make this, then we go to Mask, Edge Loop Complete, Mask, Edge Loop Complete, and mask it, Control click here to reverse the mask, then Alt click this button on our pivot, and the pivot is called by W key or E key or R key, which one you choose, but W is the closest, I told you. And now we just make this and this, and now I press 4 to get to my move brush and just go to it like this. So let's see everything and figure out what we can do next. Okay, this is pretty big, and I will just move it down like this, so it's not that long, but it could be long, we'll see. It's pretty big, so I will make it smaller and rotate it a bit and put it here. It's a little bit bigger than the head, so yeah, it's kind of like this. Okay, so we have this shoulder, and let's make thickness for this piece here. I think it's kind of good. We can try to make thickness for it, but first let's make it a little bit more interesting. So move brush, use the move brush, of course, always. Move brush is one of my favorites, maybe my favorite brush. I'm not sure which one is my favorite brush, but move brush is definitely one of the favorite ones. I like it very much. So smooth here with shift. With every brush, shift is smooth. Almost every brush. Let's try the ZModeler, and shift is smooth again. So with every brush, smooth is shift. Shift smooth, then we go here. When we look from this direction, it will be a little bit awkward, because you see here it's not quite understandable what is there. But we can go to the hand, press our 6 button, which is inflate brush, or select it from here, but it will be easier with the shortcuts, of course, and just inflate this, then go to our move brush with 4, move around and just make sure it's going inwards, and then I will increase this. Of course, we can always adjust, it doesn't matter, but the thickness will make it in the next video, because we'll continue probably working with our ZModeler brush, because it's it's kind of not difficult because it's very easy, but it's kind of something different. It's different. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, saving project file in ZBrush is auto saving, and it's auto saving kinda every 20 minutes. So yeah, it's time to end this video, and I'll see you in the next, of course.